لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك. محمد نبينا بنور هدينا محمد نبينا بنور هدينا.
The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria NAHCON says it will work together with licensed tour operators, state pilgrims welfare boards and other agencies, as well as the Saudi authorities to fight against the practice of some pilgrims overstaying their visa permits during Hajj or Umrah, saying that it is a violation of Saudi immigration laws.
Any Nigerian who wants to go into the kingdom.
NAHCON Chairman Barrister Abdullah Mukhtar Muhammad stated this during a meeting with members of Association of Hajj and Umrah Operators of Nigeria, NAHCON, as well as some chief executives of state pilgrims welfare boards at the Commission's headquarters in Abuja.
Any Nigerian who wants to go into the kingdom and stay longer than the normal 15 days or the 30 days or the Hajj visa, he can apply to get the right visa by presenting the right documents to the Saudi embassy and to the consulate, and he will be granted that visa, and he can stay as much as his visa permits. But for people to use Umrah or to use Hajj and break Saudi immigration law and refuse to come out, certainly the Commission will not continue to look the other way around. We will not accept it, we will not allow it, we will not condone it, and we will work together with you people to make sure that we fight it.
The chairman further warned that the Commission would take measures against defaulters in order to stop further dent on the image of the country.
Importantly, those that have been identified not to have returned either during Umrah or during Hajj, we have to agree now at this meeting the next step that we will start taking. We have to do it because we are the first line of defense as far as our country is concerned, to make sure that we do the right thing without allowing people to give us bad names.
On behalf of tour operators and state boards, the immediate past president of NAHCON, Alhaji Abdul Fattah Abdul Majid, commended NAHCON for carrying them along in addressing the issue of people overstaying in the kingdom.
Appreciation of the role of NAHCON for bringing us to this kind of meeting to look at a problem affecting the nation, and that is the problem of those who did not return, either for the Hajj in particular, the Mutakallifin. NAHCON has actually communicated with the affected companies. In addition to that, NAHCON is now calling a joint meeting between the tour operators and the state affected and the leadership of the state as well as the leadership of the association to look at how to solve this problem amicably.
محمد نبينا بنور هدينا محمد.
After the restructuring of the 6 geopolitical zones and NAHCON systems, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria has held a meeting with past and current zonal coordinators to sustain the system already in place and to address challenges to ensure the improvement of the yearly conduct of Hajj and Umrah exercises.
The zonal
NAHCON Chairman Barrister Abdullah Mukhtar Muhammad advised them to work diligently and take their job seriously, as well as comply with all NAHCON rules.
The tax of any other officer who is in the headquarters. Their responsibility is even more enormous. and the burden of trust is even higher. There you are on your own, you are the chief executive, you are the supervisor, you are the one expected to do the needful in carrying your subordinate along. You are expected to lead by example in terms of being prompt to your duty posts, attending to your meals, meeting and coordinating with the state under your zones, periodic carrying the geopolitical board members along, especially on information that they need to know.
He pointed out that the Commission expects them to evacuate their former offices and move to the new ones to help the Commission save the money for other needs. The chairman of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, Barrister Abdullahi Mukhtar, led a NAHCON delegation on a courtesy visit to the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, FAN. The courtesy visit was in appreciation of the cordial relationship between FAN and NAHCON. The NAHCON chairman appreciated FAN for its efforts, especially in the area of curbing drug trafficking by some passengers.
The 2017 and 2018, we have not recorded any case of drug trafficking, which is a credit to the FAN security all over these departure centers. But prior to the 2017, Ilorin Departure Center has been a very notorious exit for those drug traffickers. So our appeal here is the success recorded of recording zero drug trafficking in Hajj. We should work together to sustain it by not relaxing but improving on the security arrangements so that we don't allow the evil messengers take advantage of our relaxedness to perpetrate their crime.
The NAHCON chairman also used the opportunity to raise some concerns regarding the challenges faced by pilgrims with regards to poor state of facilities at some of the airports. Some of the issues he raised include poor sanitary conditions at some of the airports, extra charges on pilgrims' luggage at tarmac, lack of access to and use of empty terminals, especially in Kaduna, and lack of access to clinics and sick bays, among others. The managing director of FAN, Engineer Saleh Dunoma, assured NAHCON chairman of the agency's commitment to improve on airport facilities and equipment for better service delivery to pilgrims.
So we will look at all these areas as you complained, and all the improvements that we want to do. I'm sure you are going to see a lot of difference during the next pilgrims in terms of operations, in terms of facility, in terms of equipment that we are going to provide. We will also try and complement. You are complimenting us in so many things. Thank you very much for that. But we'll also try and make sure that whatever we need to provide, they are provided. And we look at all these airports. Wherever you need to use the main facility for operations in times of difficulty or anything, we will, of course, oblige you that facility.
In line with the provisions of its act, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, has demanded to license, regulate, supervise and perform oversight functions of organizations, associations and similar bodies engaged in organizing and coordinating the movement of persons from Nigeria to Saudi Arabia to perform the Hajj or Umrah, providing accommodation, transportation and other services related to the performance of the Hajj and Umrah to pilgrims in Saudi Arabia, liaise and coordinate with the appropriate government authorities or organs of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia on the rules and regulations governing the entry and stay of pilgrims in Saudi Arabia for the purposes of Hajj and Umrah, including all appropriate immigration, passport and related consular services. With this mandate in place, NAHCON issues license to any travel agency that is interested in Hajj or Umrah operations, or both. Such agencies will, however, be required to fulfill the following requirements: have certificate of incorporation by Corporate Affairs Commission of Nigeria (CAC) with a minimum share capital of 30 million naira, have a standard corporate office, possess valid International Air Transport Association (IATA) approval as well as IATA accredited staff, tax clearance certificate, and a corporate account with reference letter from their bank to confirm the company's authenticity.
And that company also must have security clearance, IATA registration, and other things. These are some of the requirements that we will ask anybody that has intention to register with the Commission for him to render Umrah or Hajj services.
In addition to this, NAHCON does other security checks on the companies that have indicated interest to work with the Commission.
Most importantly, we will still send details of the directors to the law enforcement agencies to double check for us that those people behind this company, they are not fraudulent people. They are not people that have involved themselves in one crime or the other. We want to be sure that pilgrims' money is going to a safe hand.
Added to this, the Inspectorate and Compliance Division of the Commission carries out routine inspections of companies to ensure compliance with registration guidelines. Successful companies that have been licensed to operate have different packages for pilgrims interested in their services. Pilgrims must be aware of these packages before making payments.
And some, they have package for the VIP, and they have the one they call economic one. But when you say VIP or the other one, it depends on the flight. Maybe it's economy class or business class. And it depends on the accommodation in both Mecca and Medina. Is it 5-star hotel or 3-star hotel?
It is important to the pilgrims is to look at the package that is advertised. Don't pay for vague things. I have a 3-star hotel close to the Haram in both Mecca and Medina is useless. Tell me the name of the hotel, the streets that it is located, how I can locate that hotel online, because if you tell me the name, I'll be able to check for that hotel online and see how the rooms are if you have not provided such in the package. So we should avoid vagueness in that arrangement.
During the period of the actual Hajj at Mina, the tent I'm going to use, is it a B, a C, A, or A+? You see, because all these ones, the financial implication differs. Okay? So, and you must ask for all this because it determines what you are going to pay.
With Umrah underway, NAHCON officials are always on ground in Saudi Arabia to ensure that pilgrims get value for their money.
It is the responsibility of this division to ensure that all those that entered into agreement to provide the pilgrims with either accommodation or catering services, provide the services as agreed upon, or as agreed between the two parties. So we inspect the accommodation before the arrival of the pilgrims, or before concluding the agreement with the owners. We usually disqualify any or reject any accommodation that did not meet our standards in terms of quality, in terms of facilities, and so on.
Furthermore, in order to safeguard pilgrims from fraudulent activities in the system, NAHCON publishes the list of all licensed tour operators in selected national dailies, in addition to having the travel agencies display their licenses in their offices.
we normally publicize in the national dailies, so that we allow members of the public to know that these are the lists of companies that have been licensed for a particular year's Hajj. And once you enter any tour operator's office, we have even mandated it on them that they have to display their current Hajj or Umrah license in their office. So once you enter any tour operator's office and that current Hajj license is not there, that is to tell you that such company has not been licensed to operate Hajj for that particular year.
In addition to that, you can also consult with the offices of our own in the various zones. And we have 3 zones today. We have in Lagos, we have in Kano, we have in Abuja. So through this, we believe, and then through the constant program which NAHCON is now running on the television and the website of NAHCON, I mean, the information is there for those who care.
NAHCON sanctions companies that breach contractual agreements.
If it is during Hajj, we requested that people should, pilgrims should report instantly where there is any deficiency. They should report so that immediate action is taken. If it is something that is reported after the Hajj or after the Umrah, then the division will also assess the situation and follow up.
The Commission has measures in place to ensure that pilgrims are not shortchanged. These include compelling tour companies to refund monies for services that were poorly or not rendered.
The mandate of the inspectorate to ensure that all these facilities are made available for use of the pilgrims. If any pilgrims has no bed space, it is the responsibility or the mandate of the division to take it up with that provider. If they did not provide, then a case will be made against that to ensure that there is a deduction for that. If no mattress, it is the responsibility of the inspectorate to report that, provided they get they have the information, then it will be documented and the appropriate deduction will be made against the provider. So all the facilities, we ensure that the pilgrims really are given all that they are required to be giving. And in a situation where there is any deficiency in the services provided, it will be documented and the provider will be charged to refund that aspect of the services not rendered or poorly rendered.
While ensuring that these provisions are enforced, NAHCON also come up with reforms aimed at sanitizing the activities of tour operators as well as make them conform with international best practices.
Teams of inspectors, along with relevant security agencies, we moved around the country and we discovered a number of unlicensed companies. The first step we have taken against them was that we gave them a notice of 21 days for them to comply with the licensing requirements. It is after the expiration of these 21 days, if you are unable to comply with the licensing requirement, then we handed them over to security agencies. As I'm talking to you now, a number of them in Lagos and in Kano, they are currently in court. And we believe any moment from now, we'll get judgment against them.
Has made sure that there are standards. It's not anything that you can offer to the pilgrims. we are to stay apart and be distinct from the services offered by state pilgrims boards and agencies. We are not competing with them. Our services should be better than their own. Of course, on their own side, NAHCON is also trying to make sure that they comply to other standards as obtained in other parts of the world. What the pilgrims pays is what you would get and so on. But as far as tour operators are concerned, they are to cater for busy executives who want to do their devotions and return to their countries in the shortest possible time. So our services, the hotels that we operate, where the pilgrims will stay, the type of transportation that they would be offered, and feeding and accommodation should be distinct and different and even better than those offered by the state pilgrims boards and agencies.
NAHCON works in partnership with the Association of Hajj and Umrah Operators in Nigeria, AHCON, to address the problems of pilgrims abscondment, as well as overstaying visa permits and human trafficking.
Maybe in Ramadan, mostly in Ramadan, they travel to Saudi Arabia and then abscond, stay away. Stay away their plan is to stay away and do Hajj. Whether such Hajj is accepted by Allah because of the means through which that pilgrim came into Saudi Arabia, I leave that to the scholars of Hajj to be able to tell us. I will not go into that. Now I'm speaking as a tour operator. So they would abscond. Some also want to use it as a form of human trafficking avenue to take people to Saudi Arabia who are not there to perform Umrah or Hajj. They are there to seek greener pastures, as we say, to look for work and so on. The Saudi authorities have made the visa for work separate from visa for Umrah or for Hajj. There are companies that are designated for that. They are called employment companies that get contracts for people who want to work in Saudi Arabia. So that is what AHCON as an organization is trying to sensitize its members. If your visa is for Umrah and Hajj, use it for Umrah and Hajj. If you have other issues, that's another industry altogether, which is the employment industry. But do not mix the two.
We are drumming it to the ears of the licensed tour operators. We have been telling them, and we're having series of meetings, series of lectures to educate them and to put them on notice. And alhamdulillah, so far so good. They know the implication. They know the implication. They know the implication. And I'm sure they too, they won't want to fall a victim.
NAHCON also penalizes any tour operator whose pilgrims overstay their visa permits in the kingdom illegally.
إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك